Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to share with you a conversation that I recently recorded with Phenith from Splinter Forge. We talked about a ton of things. It was an hour-long conversation, actually longer than that, but about a half an hour of it did have audio problems, and so I unfortunately had to delete an amazing conversation that had to do with bots. But truly, there was too many problems, and so I've clipped that part. But we still have a pretty meaningful conversation here. I hope you'll stick around for this one. And thank you so much for your support, guys, and for your your comments and your questions. Keep them coming. They help me create content. So thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless. Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Hope you're doing well today. I'm joined today by a special guest, Phenith from Splinter Forge, the lead developer on Splinter Forge, the blockchain-based video game that will allow you to earn in another way, in an additional way, with your Splinterlands assets. This is a game that I've played over the year and a half that it's existed, and it's been one that I've talked about on more than one time on this channel because I really believe that it actually offers something additional for those people who are already invested in Splinterlands, which I love. You've got those cards, put them to work in another way, double dip on your value, earn more, and this is one of the ways we can offset and fight against sort of depreciation on things like SPS. We've seen the token value drop. There's other ways, guys. There's other ways. And so today I'm glad to be joined by Phenith, and we're going to be talking about Splinter Forge for sure, a bit of his journey, as well as Splinterlands definitely, and the new promo cards, and who knows what else. So first and foremost, Phenith, thanks for coming and thanks for joining me today. How are you doing? And yeah, maybe tell the people a little bit about yourself. How did you even come to crypto? You know, what brought you to Splinterlands first, and then a little bit about Splinter Forge would be great to hear.
So yeah, hi, I'm Phenith. I'm doing good today. I'm Rare Raptor on Discord, just so that we can clear that up right away. Phenith is my actual long-term moniker for gaming, so that's what I like going by. We got into crypto, me and Blue Goose, the other mod on our Discord channel, we got into crypto about almost 10 years ago now.
Wow, good for you.
We started just playing around with GPU mining. We didn't get heavily into it. We played around with it for a few years, and then for 2 or 3 years, we got into it heavy. We had a couple hundred high-end NVIDIA GPUs going mining Ethereum. Yeah. And then Ethereum switched from proof of work to proof of stake, and we just said, okay, enough with mining. Yeah. So we got out of mining. We made some money there. We didn't make it big, but you know what? It was fun. It was a good experience. And near the end of that, I got into Splinterlands. Just I stumbled across it really. And once I realized what it was, I'm thinking Magic the Gathering on the blockchain. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, oh, I'm all in on that because I'm an old school Magic player, and I like the idea of everything that it offered. So I went in heavy and played it I was in at the start of, well, let's say mid Untamed. Okay. So I got in before the run. So everything we bought pre-sale land. Oh, nice. Like we got everything for the pre-bull run prices. Nice. So even if we were to sell out today, which we won't do, yeah, we would make out pretty good, yeah, on what we got at Splinterlands. Mm-hmm. And as a programmer, I was into playing around with programming bots and random this and that, other things I could do as a programmer with Splinterlands. And the delay on bosses actually had me thinking, well, let's try doing a boss fight just for fun. Just wasn't really meant to be a big project in the beginning, and it turned out to be pretty cool, and a lot of people liked it and wanted to see it become an actual game. So we've turned it into an actual game. We've been live since January 2023. I am the sole developer, just like Golem Overlord with Yixon. Yep. He's doing a great job over there. And yeah, it's a slow, long haul, and I'm a Splinterlands junkie, and this is just like, it's all passion project for me. I love it. I want to see it succeed. I'm never going to give up. And yeah, that's where we are today.
Love it. That's the recipe, in my opinion, like to just like brute force community construction. What I mean is, when the developers, and we saw this with Splinterlands with Matt and with Agrode and with, you know, a few of the other names too, like Nate and Necro, and, you know, a few of the other people who have just been in the background supporting this for years now, Splinterlands, I mean, they just through pure commitment and passion and love of what they were doing. They were not like, this is going to necessarily going to blow up in that last bull market. They didn't think it was going to necessarily, I imagine they didn't have any real expectations of what it could have been. They just loved it and wanted to do it. And that's like a brute force. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And I've heard Matt say that over the years, like, you know, even if there was no money, like, I'd keep going, is what I've heard him say. And it's what I just heard you say. It's like a brute force commitment to something you love that ultimately, I think, leads to a place where, like, if you build it, they will come. And it's like, it's just going to keep progressively getting better. I've seen it with Golem Overlord. I've seen it with Splinter Forge, with a lot of the changes you guys have been making. And yeah, it's like I said in the intro, even, it's not even, the other piece is like, you know, one can argue about maybe this isn't for them. Like, I don't just enjoy X, Y, or Z about Splinter Forge, or for that matter, any other game. But the piece I go back to every single time is, okay, but do you like crypto? Do you already own Splinterlands assets? Recognize the opportunity here, like to double dip and enjoy from two different angles. And especially as earnings have sort of fallen in a very significant way, by most people's standards, from like lower leagues, silver, gold, bronze, with some of the rank changes over the last, you know, however long, the recent ones, but even before that too. It's like, there's paths here. There's things you can do right now that would change what you're capable of doing or what you're capable of earning. And I just feel like not everybody sees that or wants to, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just frustration. Maybe it's just like disappointment about what has happened or hasn't happened. And then they get to a place where they're like, you know, I expected X and I got Y.
I think there's a wider sense there, in that society's come to be a very right now thing. And if they can't make it work right now, then it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And it's not that it doesn't work right now. It's that your inflated view of what it should be isn't being met. So It's broken to you.
That's right.
But there's still, like you said, there's still tons of opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things I like to talk about on the channel a lot. And you can, a person, and it's even a thing I try and speak to my children about, like, and even my own heart, by the way, like, it's not just something I try and preach, something I try and live, where this idea of actually being grateful for what is possible and what you do have, as opposed to being bitter and frustrated about what you can't or don't have. And those are two different realities that you can choose to live in. And, you know, I'm not oblivious to the fact that there is difficult. I suspect if someone hears me say that, they're like, oh, Dwayne, you're so, you know, there'll be frustration from me toward me because, you know, I was here when crypto was smaller, or I was here when Splinterlands was cheaper, or I was here. And that was an opportunity I had and I took. And yes, I've benefited from that. And here and today in 2024, there's new opportunities in front of people, and they either take them or they leave them. And there's no value in saying, you know, I missed the opportunity I never could have had. Like, I wasn't here. If you weren't here in 2013, 2015, 20 whatever, then you just couldn't take advantage of these things. And that is what it is. There's no point in harboring that or being frustrated about it. You just put that down because it was never a reality. And now today, what are you going to do with it? And that's where it's like always for me with Splinterlands, I would say, and even with Splinter Forge, I go, it's that, is it fun and rewarding piece? And do I believe in the trivial nature of these rewards because of like I have a long time horizon. Like I have played Splinter Forge quite a bit, not recently, but I have quite a bit. And I probably put a couple $100 into it because I built up my hero. And I don't know if I've cashed any of like Forgium out, but you can earn Forgium and then you can cash it out through Hive Engine, correct?
Yeah, so it's the same as SPS or the way old DEC used to work. You get it and you can just transfer it over and back and forth however you want.
So with that said, there's like as I alluded to a moment ago, does that mean that there's like massive daily returns possible? That's not the question. And if that is someone's question, it's like you're just barking up the wrong tree. But if you have a different perspective and you go, today I can scratch and claw at something, earning something, having some amount of entertainment and fun with Splinter Forge, Splinterlands, Golem Overlord, whatever other game, doesn't have to be Hive, but that's mostly where I focus. You know what I mean? That's where across time you start to begin to realize crazy opportunities, because you get a big bag of assets within a thing that you practically earn for free. Like, and it's SPS, it's soulbound cards. You're just earning them while you're incidentally, and you dropped a comment recently on my channel alluding to that, right? It's you with your Magic the Gathering cards. You talked about how, criticism towards Splinterlands specifically about how Modern League changes and how certain, like for instance, Chaos Legion cards will cycle out. It can be looked at from two perspectives. One, very disappointing because the cards I bought to play in Modern no longer play in Modern. Eventually that will be true. Or from a different perspective, well, I still own these cards. I enjoyed them while I had them in the Modern League, and now I can enjoy them in other respects. And I'm a collector, and so from that collector standpoint too, I think what you said in that comment, and I'd love for you to expand or, add anything you want to add here to that. But I think you said in that comment what I'm talking about with this like two perspectives. Either you're, grateful for what the opportunity you have and for what you have, and you're enjoying the process, or you're fixated on, disappointment or frustration for what you can't or don't have. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's exactly it, really. Like it really ties back to that last comment about the right now thing. Like the ROI hunters, if that's all they're here for, then you're going to be disappointed. This is a game. It's a multifaceted game with a huge complex ecosystem of tokenomics. Like when you actually get into Splinterlands, it is so in depth that the game is just a tiny part of it. And if all you're here is to win money playing the game, then you're not here for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I would maybe add one thing where it's like, I do love that there is actually a piece where you can come here and play this game and earn crypto and earn money, earn value. So like the economic side of it is a reality, in my opinion. Some people will disagree and say it's not going to be, keep going up or whatever. To me, it will. And also to me, that's reliable. And to me, those prices will go up eventually, even beyond what you might imagine. So there's the economic side, and that's meaningful and, in my opinion, reliable and exciting. But there's a totally different piece that most people don't want to focus on. And I think you have to focus on. First and foremost, the idea of the entertainment side, the fun first. And that's what I really saw you driving at in that comment. Because I think it's like, man, there's such philosophical truth to the idea that if you chase after the wrong things, the wrong incentives, you end up in a bad place. But if you chase after the right incentives, you're going to end up in a right place. Like I would argue that chasing after, like actually scripture says, like, follow me and like honor God and do all things for like his name. And then all other things will fall into place. Like he'll provide food and clothing and all the things that he knows you need. And I think that, whether that's theological, but philosophically, I believe that to be true. Like if you have the right approach to Splinterlands, to blockchain-based gaming generally, it comes out of this place of like, I'm going to enjoy this day, this moment, this opportunity, and I'm going to set aside expectations or anticipation. You might have them, expectations and anticipation, but you're not going to carry them. You're just going to enjoy the moment. And if imagine anything else, if you didn't do that with your marriage, if you didn't do that with your kids, if you were living, I don't know if you have, Phenith, do you have children?
Yeah, I'm married with 2 kids. They're teenagers now, though, so they're starting to not want mommy and daddy time. But yeah, no, it's true. Like you have to appreciate the moment as much as you have to focus on the future.
That's it. And I think the simplest way to say it is, if you have a 5-year-old kid and you want them to be mature and grow up and to be a man or a woman that, like, you think is honorable and living the best life that they're capable of living, are you going to put the fullness of that burden on them at 5 years old? Or are you gonna, in that day when they're 5 years old and you're their father or mother in front of them, are you gonna like help them in that moment to become a little bit better that day? Of course, it's the latter. It's not the former. If you try to foist like the fullness of the responsibility of adulthood on a 5-year-old, or then they get buried by that burden. And I think that analogy is what some people are doing with crypto-based gaming, when they go, even with the recent changes in terms of how rank's paying out in Splinterlands, the rewards don't matter. I'm not getting paid anything. And it's like, that's just not true. You're getting SPS. So what they're actually saying is it doesn't carry a meaningful value to you. Okay. Do you ever think about how it might be meaningful? Like, do you think that the token could go up? And aside from that economic side, again, fun, is it fun? And I just think there's a different psychological, philosophical angle that people, I hope that they can pick up and carry, because I think it transforms how we engage with, I think, revolutionary nature of video games that is unfolding in front of us. Blockchain bringing NFTs to ownership and to the players who receive reward for their time and attention. I mean, you get that you in your development of Splinter Forge, like that is totally different, right? Like than any other games before, where Mario's getting coins for hitting a brick. Great. I want to beat that game. I might love that game. But this adds something entirely different where I can have fun and be rewarded. What was the first moment you saw that in crypto?
Where I would enjoy it?
Where crypto could offer you a reward. Like you saw something, to me, there's a revolutionary nature of blockchain-based gaming tied into crypto, like crypto tied into gaming. The nature of NFTs and how you can be rewarded for your time and attention. That is why blockchain-based video gaming is unique, special, worth consideration. And I know you stumbled along Splinterlands. I heard that, but like, do you remember one moment, one card, you said you came in during the Untamed. Was it land that grabbed you? What was the one thing was there even one thing, or was it just a generalized feeling of sort of attraction to it? If there was one thing, I'd love to hear that.
Okay, so this is kind of a 2-part thing for me, I think. And I go back all the way to when we first got into crypto and started playing around with GPU mining. My thought process was, and the way I explained it to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to people, was that it's a bank online, and instead of every time you do something with your assets, the bank taking a cut, the miners are getting a cut. There's everyday people in their basements with their hardware are getting a cut of these fees, right? And I said it's decentralizing the banking system. I'm like, that is what really drew me to crypto in the first place, was the fact that we could take it out of the hands of a controlling source, and just take it over and say, now we can make our own deals, back to the old barter system, but a lot more precise, right? And but in terms of gaming, that too was, I think back to I think it was Diablo 3, where they they first introduced the market where you could actually sell stuff for real money.
Yeah.
And then they took it away. And I'm like, well, in Web3, they can't take it away.
Yeah.
I could still sell you my cards. I could make a deal with you right now to sell you a card. Yeah. You can send me some crypto and I can send you the card, and Splinterlands knows nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the whole idea of not having somebody who can say that part of that, I'm taking that fee, or I'm taking this, or you can't use that here, or you can't do that here. Like just removing all those barriers was the whole idea of crypto to me, and it applies to the gaming too. Like I said, the Diablo 3 thing is the perfect example.
Yeah,
why did they take it away?
That's exciting because I experienced that too, and so there's some common ground there. But I also like, that is kind of what I was driving at, like that it's even before crypto, even before the mining. It's like there might have been some catalyst, and that's what I'm kind of hearing when you mentioned the D3 market, where you saw, wow, I can play this game and have fun with this, and have fun with this market, and earn something here, and own these things and sell them for my own betterment. And to me, that was absolutely that time too. Like I remember I would set my alarm when D3 had a market. I'd set my alarm and I'd wake up at 4 in the morning or 2 in the morning, because there was different hours of the day where I was starting to find that there would be some, I don't know if bots were probably dungeon grinding, and then they'd go and they'd list things, and so I found that you'd find really good prices on certain things while most of the world was not playing or sleeping. And so I would go buy helmets or swords or whatever. I don't remember what gear anymore, but I would go buy certain key things that were what I imagined under market value and relist them immediately. Market, like flipping, like monster flipping, which I still do with Splinterlands. And it was like this beginning of this kernel of like, this is totally different than anything I've seen before. And then but it was like bricks in a wall that built like a foundation for me, because it was like that was one brick. And then there was other bricks where it was like 2008 crisis, and I'm like concerned about general economics, or the point I'm trying to make is it's been this accumulation of conversations and experiences that have led me to be curious about what blockchain might offer in life, whether it's social media rewards, whether it's in-game video game rewards, whether it's massive multipliers because of scarcity and demand and whatnot. And I think you're walking a lot of that same journey too, it sounds like. Hey?
Yeah, no, for sure. It is definitely an accumulation of knowledge, and a lot of the things we're seeing in today's world. One of the things that you can't discount, especially on a blockchain like Hive, is the decentralized social media, where they can't ban a user or take down a post, right? Like you're seeing a lot of that around the world, and crypto really solves that if you want to consider it a problem.
Yeah.